What's good? S4J finally back again, bringing you the coolest battles of yesterday and today, right? And I'm just gonna go ahead and lead out with my Scizor, as my opponent's gonna go ahead and lead out with the Swampert, right? And being that he did lead out with the Swampert, he is gonna get an early lead off setting off his entry hazards. But fortunately for me, I am choice banded. I'm gonna get off some damage, some significant damage with the U-turn, and then switch out into my Ferrothorn. Me knowing full well that this guy has like Terrakion, Gliscor, maybe it's a Taunt Gliscor, I don't know, all that other jazz. He's gonna probably try to take advantage of my Ferrothorn being out, so I'm just gonna double switch right onto my Latios and see what he tries to switch out into, what he has in mind exactly. He's gonna switch out into Infernape, right? So I'm like, whoa, I got an early kill, except not really, because he brings in the what's that thing called, Milotic, right? I'm like, I just saw the team preview, but I kind of forgot that he had Milotic. I'm thinking like, this dude has Terrakion, Gliscor, little to take a Surf. Swampert takes neutral damage from it, and plus I am choice perks, you know, so he's definitely gonna predict a switch, right? I'm gonna switch out into my Ferrothorn. He's gonna hit it with the Dragon Tail, switch it right back out into Latios, which is amazing. I could lock myself into Thunderbolt, except not really, because Thunderbolt is not actually stab, and Milotic is like a special ward. I don't want this thing hitting me with Ice Beam just yet. If I don't think I necessarily have to get hit with the Ice Beam with the Latios is concerned. So I'm just gonna switch out into my Ferrothorn, and now I'm gonna do what I tried to do a turn, I think like 2 turns earlier, and try to set up some spikes. I'm more concerned about the Tyranitar that I have, because I'm like, whoa, this guy has Infernape, Milotic, Gliscor, Swampert, all that jazz. I'm like, what safe chance am I gonna be having in this battle to try to set up some entry hazards of my own? So I'm like, okay, well, now I bring it in because I'm actually predicting a fire move in this case, since I did leave my what's it called, the Ferrothorn in, and I was thinking that maybe he might actually want a double switch of his own, probably. Maybe he's choice banded of some sort, and I'm thinking, I didn't even think of the choice banded, because I would have actually predicted the U-turn right then and there and switch out into Gliscor so I could get off my poison heal ability activated. He's gonna go into Terrakion, and now I'm gonna switch into Gliscor because I know this thing can't touch Gliscor. Right, he's gonna go for the X Scissor, right, and it's not gonna do too much, obviously. And I know he's gonna want to switch out, so I'm just gonna do the same. Obviously just trying to predict a switch, right? He's gonna go into Gliscor, try to avoid the potential earthquake that I might inflict onto his Terrakion there. And I'm like, okay, now I can take this opportunity to set up another layer of spikes, which is amazing. The more entry hazards, the better in this case. But unfortunately for me, he's gonna bring in his Infernape, which is like unpredictable in this case. I've seen the U-turn. So I'm like, and I see Life Orb actually, so I'm like, this guy might actually have hidden power or something like that. So let me just go into Gliscor. He is lead seated, probably just try to protect stall it a little bit. And me predicting the close combat, because I did have the Gliscor. I did have the Tyranitar, and I switched into it earlier. I'm just gonna probably try to go back out into it, but unfortunately for me, he's definitely going to predict that, go out and kill me with the overheat. So I'm not gonna get a chance to protect stall this thing for any amount of HP. And he's gonna have to bring this thing in later on. But fortunately for me, he's Life Orb, and he's taking residual damage with the Sandstorm. With that is concerned, Latios is obviously faster than the Infernape, so he's gonna probably try to switch out. Predicts the Thunderbolt, obviously, and goes for the Thunderbolt. And then goes for the Swampert to try to resist it. But unfortunately for him, he doesn't know that I'm actually not choice specs. I am Expert Belt, and I'll switch up on him and hit this thing with the Dracometer and take this thing out before it does like Roar. I was predicting that this thing might probably go for the Roar, right? You know, and kill this thing off. So I take this time and finish this thing off with the Dracometer. It's gonna bring in the Thundurus, and I regret not having the entry hazards up of my own. I'm just gonna bring in my Rotom, right? And I'm like, whoa, you know, you might probably want to go for the Nasty Plot. I know Nasty Plot Thunder won't necessarily, Nasty Plot Thunderbolt won't necessarily kill off the Rotom, well, my Rotom anyway. Could probably get up for Plane Split or something like that, and maybe finish it off later on. But he's just gonna go for the Thunder Wave, which is okay, I guess. And I'm glad he actually didn't do that on the Latios. So he's gonna go out into Milotic, and on the switch I go for Will-O-Wisp and I miss it, which is I guess not necessarily too much of a bad thing, being that this thing has a Marvel scale, and being that it's a special wall. I guess he predicted a Will-O-Wisp and tried to get burned so that he could you know, increase his defenses, because look how well he's taking those special hits. I mean, that was a critical hit. I mean, look, that's normally like a normal hit, I guess, considering that, you know, my Rotom's Actually, no, it's not. It's usually a 3-hit kill. What am I talking about? But I'm just going to bring this thing down. Kind of blinded by that critical hit that I got with the Rotom with, you know, little special attack investments. Just going to try to finish this thing off with the Thunderbolt. Not quite there yet. He's going to go for the recover to recover 50% of his HP. So I'm like, okay, you know, let me just hit this thing again with another Thunderbolt. If in the case that I might be able to be sacrificial with my Latias, at least I'm able to take out the Milotic, you know. So I'm like, okay, let me just finish this thing off with the Thunderbolt. If Thunderbolt doesn't finish off the Sandstorm, well, I mean, at least that's what my thinking was. But unfortunately for me, even after taking the Thunderbolt, he is going to live, even after taking the 6% with the Sandstorm. So I'm like, okay, you know something? I got an idea. I haven't set up my third layer of spikes yet. Let me just take advantage of this thing being in, and I'll set up my other layer of spikes, my third layer of spikes, and he might actually try to switch out, to try to save his Milotic for, you know, kind of Death Fighter, to try to scout to see what are my potential moves in the future. But, you know, I wasn't thinking that he might go for a recover, because I do carry the Power Whip, and I can Power Whip you. So he's going to go for the Skull, which is not necessarily too practical. I mean, it is a 30% chance that you would get a burn, but it's not practical, and I necessarily wouldn't rely on it. I mean, look how much damage he's taking in with the Gyro Ball. You're not a physical wall, dude. You're special. You know, so me personally, I wouldn't necessarily do that. You know, so I'm just going to switch out me predicting a switch, I guess, in the case that, you know, you might not want to stay in with this Milotic, but I'm like, whoa, he's staying in, he's using Scald. And I wasn't, you know, I was predicting a switch just right then and there. I'm like, dude, wow, I can't believe that you stayed in on me like that. You know, I had the Power Whip and I could kill you. So now he just tries to switch out now to Gliscor just to try to prevent me from going for the electrical move, which is amazing, which is alright. But I do pack the Plane Split, and I do have the Hydro Pump, and Gliscor can't necessarily do too much to me unless you have the Facade, which I don't know yet, but I know Facade won't necessarily kill me. And I don't think Hydro Pump will kill me in this case, but I can Pain Split. I am knowing that he's going to go for the Protect. And then afterwards, just going to switch out. So I'm just going to go for the Hydro Pump here, thinking that you might kill, but it's not going to kill the Milotic, obviously, since it's just HP and Special Wall. And even with the 6% with the Sandstorm, this thing still survives. So it's still a pain on my side. So I'm like, okay, let me just switch out into Ferrothorn. Me not trying to, even though I do have the Volt Switch, I can do damage to it while I switch out. I don't want to risk this thing not, you know, being fully paralyzed, because knowing my luck, this thing, I mean, you know, that would piss me off, seriously. So that's kind of why I just switched out as opposed to doing the Volt Switch. Even though that move didn't necessarily make too much sense, it would piss me off if I got fully paralyzed while he recovered. You know, so I'm just gonna go for the Elite Seed, predicting a switch. Like, switch out, I packed the Power Whip, dude. Like, you don't want to stay in on me, trust me. Don't rely on the Skull. You have so much better moves to do. You have the Gliscor, you have the Terrakion, things like that. Why are you staying in on me? I'm trying to force your hand to switch out. Please fall for it and switch out. You know, but he's not listening to me. He's like just recovering. And I'm like, dude, I'm trying to go for the Gyro Ball, you know, or whatever, Elite Seed, predicting a switch, because you don't want to stay in on me. And even if you did have the Elite Seed, I kind of outstall you a little bit, because I do have the Power Whip. You know, I could kill you or whatever, but I guess maybe in a sense, I don't think I did Power Whip before, so I don't think he knows that. Just gonna go to my Rotom, right? Because I know that Rotom, even though it does resist the Scald, I didn't necessarily want it taking Scald damage. That's also another reason why I switched out as opposed to doing a Volt Switch, because I didn't want to have it taking Scald damage, even though it resisted. Being that I do want to save the Rotom for other Pokemon later on. Maybe it might just barely survive a Terrakion's close combat. I don't know. Maybe Gliscor has Facade. I don't know what I might need Rotom for later on. So he's just gonna stay in, right? He's Elite Seeded. I don't know why you're staying in, dude. Like, I'm trying to force you to switch out, and you're not paying attention to the clues. But, you know, it's kind of working for him, because I guess he's doing a little bit of damage, but at the same time, I'm like recovering too. I'm like, I don't necessarily have too many recovery. There you go. Now you switch out. Just gonna switch out, and I predict to switch here and go for the Hydro Pump, but unfortunately for me, I am gonna miss it, which is, you know, it gets on my nerves a little bit. So I just stayed at my DS. It's like, whoa, I cannot believe I just missed that opportunity right there. And it happens to be Life Orb, so I'm like, okay, let me just go for the Volt Switch just to try to get some damage on it. But go figure, I get fully paralyzed this turn, and he's gonna be able to 2-hit KO me with the Thunderbolt, which is quite unfortunate for me. But he is going to take, I believe, 32% with the Sandstorm damage accumulated with his own Life Orb damage. So I'm like, okay, let me just switch into Tyranitar, knowing full well that this guy has the Focus Blast, so he can take 16% more damage accumulated with the Life Orb that he has and the Sandstorm, so I can finish this thing off with the Choice Banded Bullet Punch, even though he resisted since he's part of Electric. So, okay, you look like you have a considerable amount of HP. Knowing Thundurus' defensive capabilities, I can finish this thing off with a bullet punch and walk away clean, so I thought. And this thing barely survives with, like, what? Minus, you know, like, what? 2 HP, 3 HP. And he gets the Thunderbolt, and he fully paralyzes me, which is like, what is going on? Wow. She's gonna be able to bring in the Gliscor. The only thing I have left over for the Gliscor is the Ferrothorn here. And I was actually hesitant to switch out because he does have the Terrakion, and Terrakion could lock itself into close combat, being I can't switch back out into Scizor, and he could kill my Ferrothorn with 1 hit, you know. So it's like, whoa, you just, like, you know, obliterated my, you know. I'm like, I wish Rotom's Hydro Pump would have hit. I would have just directly switched out into what do you call it? Into Scizor and finish this thing off the bullet punch and lock myself into bullet punch until Gliscor kills me, and then I have like the Ferrothorn and Rotom left over for his 2 other ground Pokemon, or his Pokemon that are weak against, you know, Rotom, because he has the Terrakion and the Milotic left. They're both weak against Rotom. You can't, you know, So I was like, wow, I can't believe that Hydro Pump was just so crucial, just mess with me. So, you know, this does kind of have a plus side, because if I'm able to accumulate damage with the Gliscor, and just in case that Scizor survives the switch in with the Stealth Rock, I might just have a chance to be able to kill off the Gliscor, because everything else is kind of weak to Bullet Punch in a sense, I guess. I mean, I didn't kill the Milotic, I guess, so no, I'll lose this anyway. But that Hydro Pump was completely crucial. I can't believe I missed that. So he's like good game because he switches into Infernape as Death Fodder. I'm just gonna go for the Power Whip now, finish this thing off. Even if Power Whip didn't finish off, I know the Sandstorm damage would definitely be able to finish this thing off. And now he's going to bring in the Terrakion, lock himself into close combat to be able to finish off my Ferrothorn, which is unfortunate for me. I do have the Scizor left. I'm going to be able to finish this thing off the Blizz with the Bullet Punch, which is amazing. I'm going to definitely lock myself with the Bullet Punch, knowing full well that if you switch that into like something like Milotic or Gliscor, it's going to take like 2 Bullet Punches, which, you know, I guess it can't, you know, being on the Choice Band and all that stuff. So he does a smart play, stays in with the Terrakion, knowing full well that he has Gliscor left to troll me with. So I'm just going to try to Bullet Punch, maybe go for the crit, but unfortunately for me, I am going to get fully paralyzed, go figure. He's going to be able to finish me off with the Earthquake. Not that the paralysis mattered. But anyway, it was definitely a good game. Viewers, don't forget to check out the rest of my videos. I definitely had a lot of fun, and don't forget to rate, comment, subscribe. Peace. What you doing?